Alright,
Uh,
I'm starting. You got the first video? It's right here.
right
Live
here.
trending. Yep, live trending event. Henry Cavill. Get ready for this.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Sergeant Riggs, and we are in New York. Shout out to all you New Yorkers around here. And today is a very, very
Pause.
special day. So,
Pause. Alright, so you know how do you know that the Snyder cultists have been toxic and like harass people online and whatnot to get their dead universe back?
Yes. After we finished the call earlier this morning, I like checked Twitter because like I'm following you on Twitter.
Yep.
I mean I know it's called X, but fuck that. I'm never gonna call it that. I just checked and I just saw all that shit and I was like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
they are desperate.
Yeah, and
Like
also
maybe we need to. Oh, sorry.
you
Go ahead.
continue. You continue.
No, maybe we should tell them, hey, Zack Snyder's not gonna fuck you.
Yeah. But also, I'm gonna be brutally honest. Like, think about this. They're going to, because this was recorded the day Superman dropped in theaters in July. They did this the day it dropped in theaters. They did this to try and advertise the Snyderverse on the day the new Superman movie released.
Hold on one
Continue.
second. Hold on. All right. Just let me know if you need anything. I'll get it.
It's
Yeah.
pathetic.
No, I mean, I live with my parents still, so like sometimes they need me. Where I was just cleaning out my deep freezer.
Oh, it's okay. I was just saying, like,
Oh.
this video takes place the day the Superman movie released in the summer. I want to point that out.
Actually, if I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even see Superman until recently.
All right, yeah, but this video took place in July. But yeah, they bought an LED truck advertising Snyderverse stuff to try and get it back and sway people's opinions in the streets of New York at the New York premiere for Superman.
Replied to what the guy Lulu said. I said, and it's not fucked up to defend a pedophile. Okay.
Wait, what?
Oh, hold up one second. In the group chat last night when you added me, I saw like your back and forth with Lulo on Twitter, and like I typed out like at midnight, I said, as because he said that it was fucked up to when you're talking because he defends Joker, right?
Yeah.
And I typed out like if you go to the group chat, you'll see I said, and it's not. I said, and he says that it's that Black Cat's a rape victim and that it wasn't fucked up at all. That it was fucked up for you to insinuate that she was raping Peter in Joker's thumbnail, even though
Yeah.
that's clearly what is. And then I typed in the group chat, I said, and it's not fucked up to be defending a pedophile? Just saying, Lulo.
Yeah, but can you see how embarrassing it is to buy an LED truck to promote the Snyderverse during the premiere of the Superman movie in New York?
Pathetic.
What?
It's pathetic.
Yeah, I know. Continue.
All right, let's get the show on the road.
today is July 11th, and we have been prepping for this day for a very, very, very long time because we, as not just Snyder fans, I know a lot of people like to label us as Snyder Bros. We're real people, we're real fans who love certain
Pause. How big of a
Jesus
DC fan
Christ.
are you? Just real quick.
I really like Superman is probably one of my favorite characters. I'm really big in it.
Do you
But
like the Snyderverse?
I never
or no?
liked. Fuck no! Like
Yeah.
SK's video was like literally like his videos on Man of Steel and Superman versus Batman are literally is every reason why I hate those movies.
Yeah.
It's not, and yet you'll have like.
Yeah.
I actually had someone. Oh, sorry. Someone actually DM'd me and said, and this I said it like in one of the servers I'm in. Isn't it kind of interesting that like Ultimate Joker will just like fucking dick ride those movies?
Yeah. But yeah, just wanted to see how big of a DC fan you were for this, because these guys tried to say they're DC fans. But continue.
I think Smallville is probably the greatest like Superman ever.
Yeah.
have this moment of pop culture.
This guy had
Now, I know
Colin.
a lot of people are watching.
Wait, what?
No, you can keep continuing because it's not that important. Well, for now, I was just saying, like, this guy has Colin level of computer or phone camera. Lethal geeks. Look at this guy. He couldn't even get his camera to be
Snyder.
right.
The video cut out.
No, this is just literally him. It's not the video
Oh,
cutting out.
I'm playing. What's funny is that I'm like playing like. Oh, sorry. I'm playing Spider-Man 2 while we're doing this.
Yeah, I know. It's like the reason it is because he's so bad with the camera, much like Colin.
Oh my god.
Look at this guy. He's such an idiot. He's in New York, publicly saying this, and he's like a 52 something year old man, and he's doing this.
I can't even hear anything.
Yeah, because
What he's saying.
his camera's not ready. But yeah, he's a 52-year-old man trying to get the dead universe back.
He's 52?
Or something.
Welcome, everybody
Oh,
around
yep.
the world. I am Costello,
You're recording,
aka
right?
Sergeant Briggs.
Yeah.
Welcome to a live stream
I was
here
gonna say,
at the
hold
Lethal
on.
Geeks.
When we're done with this, well, send that to me when you have time as well, as I'll upload this on my channel as well.
Oh, I was uploading this on my channel. I'm working on sending you the first part of the AU video, but yeah. But now you can hear this guy and see how he has that LED truck promoting Snyderverse stuff.
And oh wait, I think someone made a video. I think ICHD made a video just saying how pathetic this guy is.
Yeah. Pause.
We are in New York City.
I also want to point out, me and Comic Legend did watch this on League Entertainment. We watched this specific video.
What did Liam say about it?
He thought it was pathetic. But anyways,
Wow.
continue.
And yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Look at this.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. You guys saw we didn't have the balls to do this?
What's he even saying?
Yes. Warner Brothers. James Gunn. We had
Fuck. I can't even fucking understand what the hell he's saying.
Turn your volume up, but what he said was, you guys didn't think we had the balls to do this? Yes, Warner Brothers, James Gunn, we had the balls. And you can't understand because
It's
the
just
camera's
hard
crap.
Yeah, it's probably Colin's got a better camera.
Yeah, but continue. Pause. What were you going to say before I spoke?
we are done.
Right. Wow, I just opened the comments. Look at this.
Yeah, I know. But what were you going to say because I just told you what he said. What were you going to say?
I said Colin's got a better camera and audio than this guy does.
Yeah. Alright. Alright, continue.
Paying for content and products that nobody asked for. We are not interested in low quality content.
Pause.
Pause. I've seen the Superman movie at least 5 times, and I'm pretty sure that's literally everything that actual DC fans have been asking for: a comic book movie or a Superman movie where he actually feels like Superman and not just some try-hard edgelord.
Also, I want to point out how he's like, I'm not interested in low quality content, yet he's a fan of like BVS and Man of Steel and whatnot.
Sorry if you can hear any background noise. Sorry about that. That's my PS5 controller.
It's okay.
We came here to New York to make a statement. And here it is. Fans worldwide want Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3.
No, we don't. Nobody wants those except for you fuckers.
Pause.
Now, I know a lot.
Nobody wants those movies.
Yeah, but don't you just find it funny how he says not interested in low quality content, yet he wants like the Snyderverse to continue?
Okay, have you seen Superman was objectively nerfed in 2025 by Ultimate Joker?
Oh yeah, I've watched the stream with that the league that everyone did, what the Thumbcast did.
My whole thing. The only reason I asked is that the reason I'm asking is because much like other Snyder cultists is that like Liam even said that he said it's hard to like as they're wrapping up as the first video was wrapping up he says it's hard to see this video as anything other than spiteful because he's like Joker's just mad that he is like just like he's angry that people prefer James Gunn's movie over Snyder's brain dead slop.
Yeah, but don't you agree that it's stupid that he wants be the continuation of the Snyderverse when he says he doesn't want low quality content?
That's literally the like what's what's even funnier I think.
What?
I think it's even funnier is that like the Snyderverse is the most low quality, bottom of the barrel, grift type of movie. Like it's
Yeah, and you gotta
oh
listen
my
to what he
god.
said. So unpause, listen to what he's about to say.
Oh boy.
You out there in the world are gonna watch the Superman movie. All I say is this: enjoy the movie. I'm not gonna take that away from you. I think nobody should take that away. If you guys really are encouraged to watch that movie, please go watch it. But know this: real DC fans, we want that story finished.
Pause.
You're not a
Henry
real
Cavill
DC
Superman
fan.
has a story still pending. Look at those
Pause.
whiteboards right there
Pause?
in your
Yeah.
face.
Did you say pause?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's like, look at those whiteboards right there. He still has a story pending. It's like, no, he doesn't. Now, I want to point out when Liam saw it, when he reacted to this the first time and saw him going like, I know you guys are gonna see the new Superman movie and enjoy. He's like, maybe he's not this bad, but when he's like, but know this, real DC fans want this story finished. He's like, never mind. But yeah.
What's crazy is that like even though I don't really give much of a shit about Zack Snyder, I think is that he's moved on to other things that continue to fail. He's just not a very good director. He's not a good storyteller.
And it's so weird that he has like a cult like following. It's like, but anyways, let's continue.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say before we continue, I saw like your tweet what you were saying about Zack Snyder's daughter, and then I saw the guy saying them like saying calling you like a disgusting human being for saying that,
Yeah.
or, like for attention, and you're like never said I was doing it for attention.
Mm-hmm.
Did they? Wow.
I know.
There is a story pending.
No, there's not. You're delusional if you think
Now, we
that.
have nothing against David Coulter as Superman. From what I've heard, that he's done a good job so far. Good for him.
Well, at least you're
And
not calling him a pedophile.
this is not against him, because I'm sure he's going to be Superman for a lot of new.
Oh, sorry. Just to point out, Zack Snyder and James Gunn are friends, so yeah, that's something worth pointing out.
They like to say that's a lie, but anyways, like see how he's trying to say like we had nothing against David Cornswet, but like we want this. That's we're only asking for a conclusion. It's like yeah, after being like the most harassment toxic group ever.
Yeah, and like the Paramount, who's thinking about buying what is it? DC said that they are gonna, like I said earlier, they're gonna keep James Gunn on. They don't want Zack Snyder because those movies. I think the funniest thing, just like people like Ultimate Joker say this, just because a movie makes a lot of money doesn't make it good.
Yeah. You still there? All right, we're back.
No.
Now, but Henry Cavill Superman is still a generation Superman that hasn't had closure, that hasn't had a story finished. And we came here to the charging bull to make a statement.
Cringe.
Our wallets are closed until Henry Cavill Superman gets his ending.
Pause. Like, I love how he ignores the harassment and toxicity they do, but this also just shows that they're just being unfair to the DCU by going like, we're just doing this until we get our conclusion. It's like, bro, when you do that, it just makes you look like a petty bitch.
Yeah. Right, let's continue.
We've been patient.
No, you haven't.
We've given Warner Brothers so many chances
No, you haven't.
to do the right thing,
No, you haven't.
to give us, the consumers, what we've been paying, what we've been asking for. This shouldn't be hard. This should not be difficult. Now, you have an option.
What's happening? Alright.
This was a global phenomenon. You cannot deny that. As much as you try to spin it, all you shills, all you guys that have been trying
Wow, shills, he says.
He's one to talk.
Yeah, he really is.
But, yeah, I just want to point out, though, it's funny he goes like, all you shows are just gonna attack us, like, real DC fans. Like, bro, you're no DC fan.
Excuse me 1 second. Oh, there's a movie by mom.
But yeah, continue. Look at his dumb
Alright, let's
face.
continue.
throw us real fans.
I don't know if you heard. Oh, I don't know if you heard that loud sound, but that was me putting my deep freezer back down. Yeah. No, let's continue.
They put our hard-earned money on certain IPs.
And you're a fucking fool if you do that. If you put money that you get from working hard on a movie, you're a fucking idiot if you do that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I love like DC, and I think what he's actually trying to say is like he puts money when he goes to pay money to go see the movie. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Oh, it sounds like he's trying to say that like he invests money in it, and if you do, you're a fucking fool.
I mean, if that's the case, yeah, I like James Gunn's universe, but I am not gonna give him money.
Yeah, like I love Smallville, and I'm like rewatching it with my girlfriend. But like, no, I'm just saying, like, I would not pay money like to invest in it, you know?
Yeah, but let's continue.
Yeah, let's continue.
If we want to see this in the audience,
Oh, did you see that person just walk behind him, looking at him?
Really?
Hold on, let me go back.
you
Hey,
guys
in the background, there's a woman who walks past and looks at him.
real fans that work and put our
See
hard-earned
the couple
money.
walking behind him,
Yeah.
looking at him like he's an idiot.
If we want
Pause.
to see this in
You see that one behind him?
the audience,
Pause.
She's just like shaking her head, like looking at him like he's an idiot.
Yeah, but I also want to say, like, remember how it was like, you have options. We prefer to see this in theaters, but like, if this is like streaming, whatever, just finish the story and whatnot. It's like,
What?
yeah, he did say that,
Like,
and also it's like, we should be the boss because we're the audience. But let him continue.
us. We are the ones giving our hard-earned money. So, I ask you guys all around the world, if you guys want to see this man finish his story as the Man of Steel, if this man was your generation Superman, just like Christopher Reeve had his time, and people
yeah, and Henry Cavill was a fucking shit Superman.
Yeah, there's a reason his universe failed.
they had closure.
Because Superman's shit. He acts nothing like Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, I honestly thought it's funny because like Ultimate Joker is a Snyder cultist. I think it's funny how he tried to say the Superman 2025 that Superman, like you saw the video, he said that a Superman, that James Gunn spited Zack Snyder by showing him saving people.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's insane. All right, let's continue.
We have not had closure, and we are not going to stop until we have closure.
Pathetic.
Keep going. We'll fucking laugh at you from the sidelines.
It didn't have to be this way. It did not have to be this way.
Why is he talking like he's a fucking
Warner Brothers
equalizer?
have to do is listen. That's it. If fans like myself are willing to pay for LED trucks like these, which are not cheap, by the way.
And that just makes you a fucking idiot for doing it then.
Yeah. Like, this guy's trying to act like he was being smart. He's being stupid.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, what was that? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I was saying he acts like he's trying to. He's being smart when he's just being stupid.
Like, I know my uncle literally, like, not my uncle, but well, great uncle had a business, something like that. Where he would like do stuff, where he'd like sell these trucks, and they're like really expensive, like a couple like $1,000. So they're not cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. All right, let's continue.
How much do you think we're willing to spend if you were to give us the IP,
I don't
the
know.
content that we want?
I don't know. You probably suck Zack Snyder off.
Continue.
They act like that. Yeah, I know. It's just funny how they act like he's gonna fuck them.
Yeah.
The merch, the collectibles, all the things that this brand sells.
Embarrassment.
Yeah.
Now, guys, I ask you all, train with us. A lot of you out there who are part of the Snyder community, and we're also DC fans, and yes, some of you that are general audiences that maybe you're not as invested in the IP as we are, as the real fans. But Henry Cavill is loved by everybody in the world.
Oh my god.
These guys want Henry Cavill to fuck them. They do. They want him to fuck him.
I'm sorry.
Or them.
Oh my god.
They
I
want
need a
Henry to
minute.
fuck them so bad.
Oh, I'm trying so hard to keep it together. This guy is like actually fucking unhinged.
Yep.
Oh my god. Oh man. I'm losing it. Wait, no, yeah, you're right. They really want either they want him to fuck them or they want to fuck him.
Yeah.
If he was returned as Superman, we all rejoiced. And a few weeks later, they take him away from us just like that. Just to try to sell extra tickets.
Oh my god. This is comedy. I'm sorry. This is like fucking what?
I was gonna say he's like they took it away from us just a few weeks later after we all rejoiced because he returned and whatnot. That's what he said.
Oh my god! What I was saying is that like this is peak comedy gold. Like I'm fucking.
Yeah, I mean,
I
this
am
dude's like
having the time.
we all rejoiced when Henry Cavill returned, and then a few weeks later they take him away from us. It's like still there. One. All right. After that, okay, continue.
Yeah, sorry for all the interruptions. It should stop. But again, I'm not like on. See, I'm on my fucking phone.
Yeah.
A few extra tickets. We are done with corporations playing with our emotions
Oh my god. Who the fuck do you think you are? Do you think you're fucking Superman? Like, bro thinks he's the main character.
I know.
Like, we're done with our emotions being played with. Okay, I honestly, this is so fucking pathetic if you're getting this emotional about a fucking superhero movie. This is almost as cringe as the time the Ultimate Joker said James Gunn is in charge of DC, a deep and mature company.
I know. And it's like, I mean, he's like, they play with our emotions for something we didn't ask for. I mean, whatever. Continue.
Yeah. No. And before I do, I did want to say that if you ever want to like react to like some of Ultimate Joker's videos, just let me know because that shit's fucking funny.
Yeah.
And taking away our hard-earned money for something that we didn't ask for. There he is. Zack Snyder himself explaining to the world on CQ his Justice League story. Whiteboards. Google them. Google the Zack Snyder Justice League whiteboards. And you will see that this is real. This is not fake. This is not fake news. This is not one of them. No, this actually exists. These storyboards exist. So there is no excuse saying, oh, but Zack Snyder already finished his trilogy. No. It's 5 movies. It's 5 chapters. We're only at 3 chapters. There's 2 more missing.
Pause.
Oh.
I wanna. How big of a fan of like the other DC characters are you? Like Batman, like the Justice League, and Green Lantern, and all that.
I mean, I was gonna say of the characters I'm like deeply like really know well. DC. Oh, let's see. I'd say Superman, Batman,
Do you know of
John
Darkseid?
Stewart. Yeah, no, I love Superman, and I'm just mostly a Superman and Batman fan, you know. And it sucks as
I was
like
like, do you
not.
know the character Darkseid, like Apocalypse and all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, he
All
was
right.
like. Oh, sorry.
I was like, all
Yeah,
right, just get ready for what he's about to say. Continue.
because I think one of the. Okay, I was gonna say before we continue, the Dark Side and the the Snyder cut of Justice League is probably one of the worst versions of the character I've ever seen.
Yep.
You're not going to see Darkseid.
Pause.
You already saw Dark Side and Justice League.
Also, Liam actually said like, I don't want to see this bitch version of Darkseid. Like, true. Continue.
I haven't even. Yeah, I was like, I literally like have never seen the Snyder cut. No, I never saw the Snyder cut because I wasn't gonna sit down for 3 hours
4.
watching this shit movie. 4.
Yep.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Shit.
Christopher Reporter was going to give us Man of Steel. And he said it himself. It would have been epic.
No,
The first 5 minutes. Epic.
No, it wouldn't have.
Pause.
It would have been just as shit as Man of Steel was, if not
Like,
worse.
I imagine they were gonna do Brainiac as the villain. And who knows how badly they would have fumbled him.
Probably worse than they fumbled General Zod. Like, I do not consider General Zod in Man of Steel to be General Zod because he acts like nothing like he's supposed to.
And also
I
like
do
how
not
remember
think
how they did Lex Luthor. And it's like he probably when they still like first 10 minutes of epicness, it's probably just a bunch of aura farming.
Yeah, no. Aura farting.
Oh yeah.
That Australian guy in the that 5-hour stream SK did. I forgot what his name was.
Yeah.
The Australian guy said that said aura farming is when it looks cool but it makes sense. But aura farting is when they do it, but it's just shit.
Yeah. All right. Continue.
Yeah, you know which Australian guy I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I believe it's Stir, but continue.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This is not just about Superman, but we also have more movies. Release the Ayer cut, the Schumacher cut, Green Lantern. We could have had Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
Yeah.
There already was a Green Lantern movie. That fucking sucks.
I think he's talking about Zack Snyder's Green Lantern movie that was going to happen. I'm
Okay.
like, bro, who knows how badly he was going to fumble that version of Green Lantern? Like, he was probably going to make the Green Lantern Corps pathetic.
Probably no. I got a better one. It probably would have made the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie. Like if he actually made that, I'd probably be like, you know what? Maybe that Ryan Reynolds movie wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing to be thinking because like that movie's shit.
Yep.
All right, let's continue. This is fucking amazing.
Turn. Look at that, fans! Look at those numbers! Look at those numbers! Look at that! But no, people don't want to see the Snyder Cut. No, people are not invested. Those numbers, all you have to do is do a little homework and sign up for yourself if it's true or not. Our wallets are closed until Henry Cavill Superman gets his finale under the direction and full creative control of Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder didn't even have full creative control with Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, and they want to give him full creative control. It's like, bro, he was going to fuck it up.
He never even had full creative control to begin with. No director ever does.
I know.
Because it's more than just one person making a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't like that. They want it. I could tell you something. They want it to be only Zack Snyder making the movie.
Yep. It's like they have some weird obsession with him.
Maybe they really do want to fuck him. I think his entire fan, the cult, is like. I think they're all gay.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably. They act like it. They might. I mean, I'm by myself, but I'm just saying. I think they might be all closeted because they act like it.
Yep.
Let's continue.
A conclusion. That's all we're asking for. We're asking for closure.
A conclusion.
What?
He was like, conclusion. That's all we're asking for. And it's like, yeah, you do it by harassing people.
The worst way to get one.
Yep, continue. Shit.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We
Pause.
are going to make our voices heard today. Whether you like it or not, we are going to trend. We are going to trend very hard. And we're going to say his name for the whole world to hear. Hashtag Henry Cavill Superman.
Pause.
You know Henry Cavill's not gonna fuck you, right?
Yeah, pause. I was gonna say, like, notice how bad his camera was right there. His camera just glitched out like that. It was so fucking bad. And I know he thinks it's looking epic, but really it just makes him look like a loser with no life.
And he's 52.
50. He's probably 53 by now. But he said this way before like Superman was released. But he's like, I don't want to imagine myself in 4th grade again, thinking like Superman was for 4th graders. I'm like, pfft. I want an adult conclusion to the Snyderverse.
I remember how. Oh my god, this is just giving me flashbacks to when Ultimate Joker insists that Superman 2025, the James Gunn Superman,
Yeah.
is a kids movie. Yeah, it's a kids movie where you see a man get shot in the fucking face by Lex Luthor.
Yeah. But anyways, continue.
Yeah. What is going on?
It's his camera. Look at all the stuff they're putting on that. It's just so fucking cringe.
More cringe than Ultimate Joker. Like, I actually combined.
Yeah, more cringe than even him.
I bet that having a shrine for I bet that these guys probably have a shrine as like in the bedroom.
Yeah, these guys are just fucking losers.
Now I'm saying,
All
how
right,
much would you like? Would you be
I
willing?
lost him.
I'm saying, would
Pause.
you be like willing to bet that they have
Well,
a
at least I
shrine
won't have to go to the
dedicated to
gym
Zack
later.
Snyder in their bedroom?
What?
I'd be willing to bet that.
Well, I
I'd
couldn't
be
hear
willing
you.
to bet. I would bet $5 million they have a shrine to Zack Snyder in their bedroom that says, "In Zack Snyder we trust."
Probably. But did you hear what he said? He's like, oh, I don't need to go to the gym. I got my cardio. And one person, I think it was Sith Wine, he said, like, that just confirms he's fat.
Oh, so, wait, Synthwine. Wait, it was a Synthwine wave, right?
I believe so. But yeah, continue.
Oh my god. That. Oh, I was gonna say before we continue, I asked that because this is the same guy who like commented on. He was in the chat for the first the Web of Pedos video when SK responded to it in a live stream. He was in the chat and he said Gaming Riff SK. I think Ultimate Joker is the Ultimate Joker and Griffin Gaming are the 5 times removed bastard sons of Synthetic Man. And Riff said that's bold of you to assume Synthetic Man's had sex. Yeah, let's continue.
Got my cardio already, so it's all good.
Yeah,
So guys,
it's okay. It's okay to be fat.
I invite you all to please join us at the Lethal Geeks. Also, tomorrow, July 12th, we are having Darkseid himself, Ray Porter, come into our stream.
What?
They
Oh
did.
my god.
I'm not joking. They did.
Oh my god. Wait, this is live, right?
Yeah, this was live.
No, I was gonna say, are you live or no?
Yeah, we're still live. I'm still recording.
And I was just saying, what's chat saying, or is there not really
Oh,
much of
no.
chat?
I don't have. I don't have a chat. I'm just like recording.
Like if it's live streaming, is there like anyone like commenting in the live chat?
No. It's not chat. I'm not streaming on like a video or anything. I'm just recording.
Oh no, I was just like, yeah. All right, let's continue.
But like, what do you think of that?
Journey.
Think of what the actor for Darkseid on their live stream.
Yeah,
Was it what was it like? I didn't. I'm not gonna see. I'm not gonna. I don't know.
I
I don't
didn't
know if
watch
I
it
have.
myself,
Oh
so
no.
I have no idea. But don't worry, we're not watching it.
I'd have to like. Oh my god. All right, all right. I'm gonna continue this while I go get myself spiked lemonade. I'm too sober for this shit.
Report starts. So join us tomorrow.
Let's say, you know what I'm saying? I'm just too sober for this.
Wait, you're not continuing?
Oh no, I am. I'm just gonna be drinking. I'm gonna be drinking a 12-ounce can of Simply Spiked lemonade while watching this because I'm too sober for this stuff.
Okay, but continue.
Yeah, no. All right.
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're gonna continue this conversation. This shouldn't be difficult. This should not be difficult, Warner Brothers. We've been at this for years, and we're not stopping. We are not going to stop. because DC is not Marvel. And I'm sorry, but from what I've seen on leaks, I'm not going to spoil anything on the new Superman movie because I know people out there want to see it.
I'm saying I can barely understand him.
But I've been hearing a lot of comparisons. Marvel. It's just another generic Marvel movie. And last I checked, the last Marvel movie, Thunderbolts, didn't do well. So there are patterns here.
But he's like trying to say like
Consumers,
pause.
viewers, which
He's trying to go like DC is not Marvel because like he's trying to think like James Gunn's turned it into Marvel. That's what he's basically saying.
It's I honestly think it's better than Marvel.
Yeah. Continue.
pardon my French, retarded bullshit.
Whoa. Take it easy, buddy. You're not allowed to say that on YouTube. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Like, whoa. He said retarded shit. Yeah, you can't say that on YouTube.
All right.
Or at least they like to demonetize people for saying that.
We just want good quality storytelling. The world is already full of crap and problems and wars, politics, whatever. This IP, not just this IP, but all IPs, Star Wars, Marvel, James Bond, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, DC, etc. They are escapism. We work every day of our lives to make ends meet, put a roof on our family, feed our kids. And all we ask for is just a little, give us a break. We just want to, sit down in our living room with some friends, or maybe with our kids, and see some good storytelling. Heroes inspired us to be better. And side note, I know a lot of you might be mocking me because I'm running. Well, I say this for all you jerks. I believe in this.
Wait,
I believe in this. That's why I'm here.
you say pause?
Yeah.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, I just stepped away for a minute.
Did you hear what he said though?
No, what did he say?
Oh, he was all like, the world's full of crap and politics, and we work every day to feed our families, and we just ask for a little break to get some good storytelling and whatnot. And he's like, tell the people who are gonna mock me, I say this to all you jerks, I believe in this. That's why I'm here.
Sounds like he might be an incel.
But anyways.
And the Lethal Geeks. We're here fighting for what we believe in, for what we believe is right.
What? Excuse me?
What?
What we believe in is right?
Yeah.
What?
Alright.
Oh my god, is this parody? Is this a parody?
I don't know. I mean, this guy's trying to say
This
it's
guy,
real.
I'm just trying to the only reason I'm just doing pausing so much is because Jesus Christ, is this parody? Like what? Oh my god. I can't take this seriously. This guy is not real. This guy's got to be an NPC.
Unfortunately, he is real.
Okay.
Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill, they were done dirty. This is nothing.
Whoa! What? No, they weren't. They were done dirty. Oh my god. All right, I'm sorry to pause it so much, but that was some bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So, do the right thing. You can have your DCU, brothers. You can have it. We're not saying get rid of it. Because just like you guys took away my Superman, I don't want you guys taking away somebody else's Superman. It might not be, it's It's the first movie, so I'll give Corn Sweat. I would happily give him a second chance because I've heard that he's done it okay. Okay, cool. But I'm still not watching it out of principle
He doesn't have principle.
because I'm voting, and a lot of
What?
I said he doesn't have principle because he said I'm happily giving Corn Sweat another chance, but I'm not watching it out of principle until
You got no principles.
Yeah.
people out there just like me are voting with our wallets. Like I said, if my team and I were able to ponder in $1,300 for an LED truck.
And you're pathetic for doing that.
Refresh my memory. 2 LED trucks.
You're pathetic for doing that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Thank God this video's almost over. I'm about to have a stroke just listening to
we
this.
still have 3 more, dude.
Okay. Okay, so it's good to, okay, I've already lost like 5 million brain cells. Let's see how many more I can lose tonight.
All right, continue.
Because August 5th, hashtag release the air tag, hashtag release the Schumacher cut, hashtag open the vault. If we as fans are willing to spend that amount of money to make a point, how much do you think we're willing to spend if you give us the content?
I don't even know what to say anymore.
He's fat. All right, continue.
Oh, let's
There's a food for thought. Till next time, guys. Hashtag Henry Cavill Superman. Hashtag wallets closed.
Hashtag Snyder cultists get a job, more like it.
No, right?
You know, I made that a hack. I remember when we were trying to, like, my first interaction with you was when you tried to call and get a job. You're like, let's do a hashtag Snyder cultists get a job. And I was like, consider it done. And it got like 0 traction.
Sadness. There's still hope, but like,
Do they have a job?
I don't know, but do you want to see like how'd you feel about that video?
Oh, let's finish this. Wait, it's not over.
No. The rest is like basically nothing. It's basically just a bunch of.
Okay.
How'd you feel about it?
Okay. You know, I mean, hell, I feel fucking enlightened.
Yeah. Okay. So the next video, you're gonna scroll down to the next one because I posted 4 in the.
Hold up. Let me leave. I'm gonna leave YouTube. And I'm going back to our group chat.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Can you see it?
Just keep going up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who else is online?
No. You just have to keep going up past those posts. Yeah. Yep. Okay. And one more. And yep, it's Henry. No. See Henry Cavill, Superman range worldwide. Start it.
This the second one.
Yes. Just give me a minute though.
Is anybody else?
No. Just give
I'm
me
sorry.
like.
I'm just trying to say. Yeah. I'll give you a minute. I was just wondering if anybody else is online to do this with us. This is fucking painful.
I mean, you can ask everyone else in the group chat. Okay, I'm back. I've started the recording again. All right, so this is gonna be. All right, start it.
Oh, this is gonna be. Have you? Okay, just before we start, have you seen this one?
Yes, the other 2 I have not seen though.
Oh, so is this the last one was fucking comedy gold? Is this better or is this even worse?
You'll have to see for yourself.
Oh my god, I love the confidence you're giving me.
Well, you know what? We have an entire Superman segment coming up shortly.
Pause.
So let's hold those thoughts until we get there, Mr. Charles.
So at least we can hear better. But you got these 3 fat asses. The guy on the bottom's like he's fat. He's fat.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Phil, what's next up, buddy? Yes.
Me running through
trending
Wall
event.
Street.
Trending event. Hashtag Henry Cavill Superman. Guys, we crushed it yesterday.
He's talking about
Right
the LED
now, I
truck.
want to thank everybody who took part, everybody who hashtag Henry Cavill Superman. Twitter
Everybody
was
did the
blowing up
who did the
yesterday.
LED
There
truck.
was a point where I had to stop checking the notifications on my phone because so much stuff was just being retweeted and the hashtag was going crazy. It was insane. So thank you guys for all the support. Phil, you had a hell of a time in New York with your LED truck, chasing it down Wall Street, trying to get us some quality footage. Absolutely incredible job, my friend. Thank you so much for what you did.
I chose the wrong shoes for that one.
You paid for that, didn't you, buddy? No, man, we appreciate all of the man.
I fucking do it again.
Absolutely. No, man, and we appreciate that, bro. We appreciate the effort you put into that, man. You are you're just as passionate as any of the rest of us. So
bro, that was like you were in the trenches, bro. Like you were fighting in the trenches. Dude, tell us about your day. Tell us about what the experience was like going down to New York for the day and doing all that, bro.
Yeah, so what do you think so far?
They sound like they sound like they're sucking each other off while jerking each other off at the same time.
I know, but like he's like they're praising the fact that they bought that LED truck and all the hashtags they did that day on the Superman premiere.
And when was this?
This was, I believe, it's the day after Superman released in theaters. But
So before I do that,
what?
Oh, he's talking about his experience, and he's going to talk about his experience in New York doing that LED truck.
First of all, I want to say thank you to Marcus Neo7s because he pulled up also. I met Marcus.
Shout out to Marcus.
Yep, I'll pull the video in a second, but also I want to shout out Bat Vasquez. This was one hell of a surprise. I'm like, damn. He came to play also.
Damn.
Pause.
Cringe.
Yeah, I know. Look, pause. They're doing this.
Cringe.
I know. They put the Batflex stuff. I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
Oh my god. Oh. Once we're done, I was gonna say before we go on to the next video after we finish this one, let me show you the war I started on Ultimate Joker's video yesterday.
Okay.
I started like a war of like 20 replies when I said Batfleck is the worst version of the character, and someone called me a liar. I'm not a liar. He objectively is the worst version of Batman.
Yeah, but also, like, do you see how stupid these guys are? They're gonna call me disgusting when they do stuff like this. Embarrassing.
Can I ask you a question? On a scale of like 1 to 10, and like you can go above 10, how cringe is this?
Since I honestly think both are just cringe. Like, there's no limit.
I'd say that's like a 5 trillion a negative. These guys have like a combined negative 5 trillion IQ.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going.
Vasquez, I hope you're watching. I'm sure you are. I
want to suck your dick. That's what he's really want to saying. I want to suck your dick. Like no. Wait. We can't say that. That's what he really wants to do to Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. Let's continue. All right. I'm starting my second lemonade.
If I do something crazy like this, I will let you know because
you guys got to team up.
This would have been awesome. This would have been such a good team up.
Wow. Oh my god.
Team up their pathetic LED truck with this.
Oh my.
I think Batman needs a Superman to go with him.
I know, right?
I needed the Batmobile that day, dude. I needed the Batmobile to follow the damn truck or the Batwing. But yeah, no, I appreciate you. Shout out to you, brother. Dude, that's a fucking dope cosplay, man.
Yeah,
it is. That's nice.
You can tell he put a lot of time into that costume. That's incredible.
Friend.
Yes, sir.
I love how the eyes light up. That's so sick.
Yeah.
That's passion, guys. So for you young people who don't believe in achieving anything or getting to that next stage in life or seeing more than 5 minutes in front of your own faces, that right there is where we come from.
Passion.
Mhm.
Passion.
That's why we're
fans.
never gonna stop.
And we
So
fight for what
there
we
you go.
want. So
All
we
right,
gotta keep
I'm
fighting.
going to put this video. Let me entire screen, share audio. Well, audio we don't need, so it's fine.
Audio we don't need.
Oh yeah, this is like
There
where
it
they're like
is.
the
Yeah,
dumb
but I have to mute
truck.
it on my end. All right, there we go. So yeah, guys, this happened. We did
Right on
this.
Wall Street. Yep, right next to the bull.
Mm. Oh, and side note, I did push-ups in the bowl too.
I saw the video on Instagram, bro. I clicked like on it. That was cool.
All right, so full disclaimer, guys. So I'm on doing a transformation. I'm like a 1-year transformation, and I do push-ups every day.
I don't believe
Like
you.
I push-ups to failure. If I do 10, 20, 30, don't matter. It's until I fail. And I told my trainer, you know what? I'm going to New York. I'm gonna go do some. I gotta run some errands, blah blah blah, personal shit also. And he's like, "Are you gonna be doing your push-ups?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be doing push-ups."
I don't believe him.
So where are you going? I'm going to Wall Street because I gotta run some errands. Just saying, "Oh, cool. I'll be near the bull." So you're gonna do push-ups there? And I was like, "You want me to?" Yeah, why not? I dare you if you'll do push-ups in the bull. Okay, I will do push-ups in the bull, and I did fucking push-ups in the bull.
That's cool.
But anyways,
It seemed like you had a good time. Like it was.
I had
It was
fun. I
funny
enjoyed
chasing you
myself.
down with the video footage all day Friday. That was.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
tell you were stressed though, bro.
You think?
Uh,
It was a hot day. But yeah, dude, it was. I honestly felt part. Okay. So I've been.
Pause.
I started in this community for you guys who don't know. I started.
Look at that guy who took the
What?
picture. Do you see this guy walking over here? He took a picture.
That guy right there,
Yeah,
next to the truck.
yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder if he
yeah, I
did
see
it.
him.
Yeah, I wonder if he's part of that community. I hope not. Anyways,
when the Snyder was just about to release. I was not in the trenches with you guys when it was released because I didn't even know it was going to happen. I kind of found out at the last minute, like when Zach announced it. So I was not part of the release era. And I felt that, you know what? And that's why because this was my idea and I shared it with you guys and the three of us were like, okay, we're gonna organize it, we're gonna do this, do that, blah blah blah. And my intention was, listen, I want if the Snyderverse does not return, I want to say, you know what? I at least fucking did something to make a difference. And I took two of my friends right here with me, and we organized. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do these clips, this and that. What's the message? Da da da. And boom,
Come up
we
with
did
a
it.
script. Yep. The whole
No.
9 yards.
Also, the video editing. I want to shout out to. Also, we have a new member in the team, but he is not going to be in the stream with us. He is backstage. We have a new editor, Esteban from Colombia. Saludos, Esteban, si lo estáis mirando. Acá estamos. So Esteban helped me edit this wonderful piece of work. And he's going to be doing a lot of work with us right now. So he is in the payroll. So expect more content from us. So we'll get that in the very end. But I just want to give a shout out to our newest member of the team. And
Well,
yeah,
that's
eventually we'll bring him on so you
Yeah.
guys can meet him.
to
But
meet him for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And he actually worked in Hollywood, so it was easy to do this because he already knew like how to edit this, the text, the script, this and that, blah blah. So it was awesome. I'm very grateful that I found him and took him on board.
And he's a
with us. So,
fan.
yeah.
He's a fan of this.
And he's a
stuff,
fan
too.
also.
Yes.
He's a fan. He is a fan. Absolutely. What other video I have? Oh yeah, let me show this other one here. Hold on. Move this to the. Where's the? Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. That it? Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, so unfortunately, originally the truck was parked near it, right, like literally right next to the bull. Unfortunately, traffic was too much, and the cops made him rotate. They had to move him, so that's why I had to run.
That was so epic. So epic.
But I was like, damn it, dude, I should have brought shorts and running shoes for that one, but that's fine.
I like the one video you got where the guy runs up to the QR code and scans it. That was
Oh,
really
it's
cool.
not.
I don't know if it's this one, but I
Okay.
thought that was really cool because we actually caught somebody interacting with the billboard.
Yeah, we have it on the page right here. Let me pull it up here real quick. But yes, we had people that were scanning the QR. This here's it's on the Twitter page. Let me pull that up 1 second.
Yeah, you still got the other video up right now. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yep. There it is. Oh, by the way, that voice, that's Esteban.
That's Esteban, yep.
Yeah, he did the voice. Yep. So
Oh my goodness, this is something else.
I know. This is just embarrassing. Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm definitely inebriated enough to be able to tolerate this. That's why I'm not like pausing every other second. Oof. No. Snyder cultist videos. You need to you need to watch them drunk because you won't be able to handle it sober. You'll go insane. I was gonna say, speaking of Snyder cultists, you know what's funny? In
What?
Ultimate Joker's James Gunn video, he actually he put high CHD in there, and he said a pro gun, he's a pro gun who saw what we had to say about this and makes anti-Snyder videos. That just shows how spiteful he is. Anti-Snyder videos?
Oh my god.
No, you know what? No, I was gonna say, you know what? We should react to that video because we should react to that video, shouldn't we?
We'll
When we
react
if we have time
to,
tonight.
We'll react to some Joker videos another time.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna take hours.
Yeah, as you guys can see,
5 minutes of an Ultimate Joker video is 5 hours.
Spanish version, and I was going to do a Portuguese one, but that's why I tried to reach out to Dennis because I didn't know another Brazilian. But that's okay. Next time, well, do you think this is going to be the only time we're going to do this?
We just got to plan a little bit ahead, make sure everybody knows what their roles are. That's all.
Yeah, and listen, this is the first time we do something like this, so obviously mistakes were made, but you live, you learn.
And you learn, exactly.
You know, and that's why I love this community because how many campaigns have we done? Release the Snyder Cut, restore the Snyderverse, sell Snyderverse to Netflix, release the Ayer Cut, release the Schumacher, make the Batfleck.
Whoa! Release the Ayer Cut. I don't think any cut could have made the Suicide Squad from 2016 good.
Nope.
Shit. Like absolute dog shit.
Movie, on and on and on and on and on. All these campaigns have been successful in some shape or form. Obviously, Release the Snyder Cut was the winner of them all because we got the cut. And we as fans have observed and we have participated in these other campaigns, hashtag, of course. And we've seen and we've learned what works and what doesn't work and what needs to be tweaked and what needs to be improved.
Well, fuck you know, you're not even a fucking filmmaker.
Through this campaign, yes, we did learn a few lessons. Like, for instance, I should have asked the driver, like, what's the best spot to drop the truck, you know? But little things like that. But again, little tweaks that we can do for the future.
Yeah.
Look how fat the guy in the bottom is.
I want to put Marcus in here. So hold on. Let me see. If
See how fat he is.
The one with Marcus here.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, no, that's when it showed up.
Yeah.
That's when it just showed up.
Yeah. I think that was the one from South Cali guy that he screamed.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I think SK definitely made the right choice saying I'm good.
He probably knew this was going to be bad.
There you are.
Neil Sevens, member of the community. right? Snyderverse, baby. Yeah, baby. So what you think about this beautiful little truck that they pulled for the people?
Oh
Ready
my
for this?
god.
See, this is what I love. People that we've never met in person, but when you meet them,
Pause.
it's such a cool experience
Pause.
because you can feel like, wow, just as passionate. Another person who's just as passionate as me, just as passionate as Charles
Pause.
and as Rock.
And it's cool
So-
because it's
Hold
like
on,
you've
hold
been
on.
interacting with Marcus.
Sorry, what?
Then pause. Okay, it's paused. All right, I was gonna say like, so the video with the Marcus guys, like, we're out here, for the love with Zach, and we're out here trying to get it back, trying to get the Snyderverse back. and then the other guys like Christopher McCoy. Okay, Christopher McCoy, and it's like. But anyways, continue.
Every time you say but anyways, I just keep on thinking of an Ultimate Joker's video. So he's like, but anyways.
Oh, don't compare me to that fucking idiot. But yeah,
No, I'm sorry, man. It's just what I thought of.
that's okay.
Before we do, I do like how the Rift will sometimes like mock Joker's voice, and it's always funny as shit.
Yeah, but how do you think about these guys so far?
Line.
Well, you're trying to get the Snyderverse back.
You know what? I guess I think they smell and they need to go back to their mom's basement.
We're out here
They're
for.
fat, they're smelly, and they need to go outside and touch a thing called grass and not a woman.
Yeah. Okay.
And preferably die of hay fever in the process.
Okay. Okay. Let's continue.
For so many years, so to
I
finally
have
see
zero
you guys
filter at the
at
moment,
this
Exactly.
training event live is just incredible.
Yeah, Marcus.
There he is.
There he is. Shout out to you, brother.
But
Shout out
pause.
Marcus.
I mean,
Pause real quick.
if we were able to pull that, look what we've been there.
Marcus.
Would you
Sorry.
say like I hope they like pass? It's like you want them to pass on Minecraft. We all know it's Minecraft because their Minecraft account passing in Minecraft means they can't play a great game. Am I right? That's what you mean?
Wait, what happened?
Well, because you were like, oh, because that was the last. Because there was something else you said. It was a little blurry, but it's like, and let's all hope like something.
I was gonna say, about what I thought about these guys. They're
Yeah.
smelly. They're fat. They need to go outside more and touch a thing called grass.
Yep. All right. But let's continue.
Yeah. It's almost over.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing how much fucking money you blow on something that's stupid.
Invested, happy. Billboards.
By the way, look those numbers up because we got lurkers, obviously. Maybe we got some Wall Street guys. Welcome. Look up those numbers right there.
That was in China alone from that article.
Oh, and by the way, how many people are we in the United States? Like 300 million, give or take?
Oh,
Yeah.
more than that,
Yeah.
baby.
Well,
Over
you guys are getting
350
close
million.
to. Yeah, you guys are getting.
All right,
close to-
let's say 350 million ish people here in the United States of America. 330 million views in China in 7 fucking days.
on a streaming platform, guys. On a streaming platform.
Whatever, fat fuck.
So
So what's the point?
I asked Warner Brothers this: release the numbers.
Mhm.
If the movie is a cul-de-sac, if it's the movie is nobody wants to do, then why the fuck are you hiding the numbers?
Because the theatrical
Blow
run
the
hasn't
fuck up, show the numbers.
because the
You
theatrical
want us
run
to shut
hasn't
up?
ended yet. You
You
stupid
want us to
piece of
stop?
shit.
Pause.
Show the numbers.
What were you saying?
Show the numbers. Oh, yeah. They can't show the numbers because the theatrical run hadn't ended yet. You stupid piece of shit.
Yeah, they're talking about like like the James Gunn movie. It's like, shut up.
Yeah.
Continue.
Oh, this is. This is something
But
else.
instead of that, no, you sabotage the premiere of Zack Snyder's Justice League with Tom fucking Jerry. You also don't even give Zach any opportunity to promote this live, like major outlets. Zach had to go podcast to podcast and promote the shit on his own.
We the fans had to promote it.
And we the fans were there pushing, and we're still pushing.
That says more about you than it does Warner Brothers.
And here's the funny thing: imagine James Gunn, Warner Brothers, if you guys would just release what we asked for. If you only listen to what we're asking, all of this
Then don't be fucking hostile when you ask for shit.
would be yours. All of that. But instead, it went to that truck.
Pause.
Oh.
Ugh. What did I miss?
Yeah.
Did I miss something or?
No, it's like I just wanted to get what you felt. I get about your reaction to that.
The fans? I was gonna say it says more about them than it does anything about Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but like them saying like, "Oh, this could have been yours if you just listened," but instead it went to that truck.
You're pathetic.
Yeah, I know they are. But get ready for this. You're gonna want to hear this. This is the best part, in my opinion.
Okay. Oh boy, this is gonna be good.
And I got a brother. Okay, I'm gonna do a side note here. I'm gonna show you guys something else where I put my money. But I'm not gonna show it completely. I'll show it in the next stream because it's too fucking big. Hold on.
I know.
Hurry your ass up.
He's going to get that centerpiece I told him to put on his kitchen table. There it is.
Where's that? Okay, there you are.
There you go, buddy.
If I'm willing to pay $2,000 for this baby,
the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
2,000.
You know what? I mean, I don't know. I can't hold that. I guess I can't really hold that against them. It's because there are certain items I'd pay $2,000 for, but they're not. But it's about something I'm actually passionate about. That's not complete dog shit. No. It's so funny how people. I forgot what it was. I saw. This just made me think of. I saw a meme someone sent in League Entertainment server. Said it was like a fat guy eating a big ass burger, and someone said SK consuming cape shit slop, and I thought, and I just said, if you want to talk, and I was just thinking, if you want to talk about cape shit, why not talk about the Snyderverse? That's cape shit.
All right, continue for the rest of it. This is gonna get good.
how much do you think we, the fans, are willing to spend if you guys give us the content we want?
Probably sucking Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill off is what.
It's as simple as that, guys. It's all about the money. We have.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I really want. Okay, once we're done here, I'm literally going to ask Liam if he wants to join us. If not, once we're done here with this video.
You gotta watch the other two.
Yeah, you said so? Which ones did you get Liam to react to with you?
Only the first one.
Oh God, we need to. I need Liam here.
On this IP, Warner Brothers.
I want someone else here.
Fucking Saffron. We have the money, but if you guys don't want it, okay, we won't give you our money. And good luck trying to explain to your shareholders later why did Superman flop.
By the way, if Liam joined, pause. If Liam joined, we need to bring it back to the part where it's like, all this money could have been yours, but instead it went to that truck, and then just kind of show him that part.
Hey, I was gonna say, can you pause the recording so I could just quickly like shoot him a message in the group chat?
Sure. One. Okay, well, Liam's not joining, so full screen, please.
This dude. Sit your ass down. Come on.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh God.
Sit your ass down, Pippin.
What is this? What is this?
But yeah, I'll do an unboxing next time because that's too fucking big.
Next episode,
All right.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, guys, what do you guys take on the? What else you guys can? The chat. I want comments on the chat. I want the chat to tell us what you guys
Huh.
think of the.
Movies and games related. WB hates money. Ain't that the truth?
I mean, you know what? Let's flip our script. I agree with them. They act like they hate money when they will like cancel video game projects that could do very well.
Yep.
Like the Batman Beyond game that was supposed to, they canceled the Batman Beyond game and made Suicide Squad kill the Justice League.
I have my own issues about Suicide Squad
Makes
that we
sense.
can talk about another time, but I also want to point out that there was going to be a Superman trilogy set after the events of Arkham Knight.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Okay, I was gonna say Suicide Squad, it's for a different time, but just saying they canceled a Batman Beyond game
And the Superman
that
trilogy.
was supposed to be set in the Arkham.
They canceled
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, they canceled a Superman trilogy set after the events of Arkham Knight.
Oh my god. The only thing I'm saying before we continue is that like I literally like in order to get a good Superman game, I looked up I ordered Superman Shadow of Apocalypse for my PS2. And that's because that's like the only good Superman game.
Ugh. Alright, let's continue this bullshit.
Yeah, they
James
do.
Gunn is working on making the
You don't
Superman
want
game
this,
set
WB?
after the
Okay.
movie.
No, I won't give it to you. I'll give it to somebody else. Absolutely.
Looking forward to that.
Should be destroyed, and Ben 10 Ultimate Trilogy should return. I'm not a Ben 10 type fan, but hey, if there's an audience for it who's demanding it, it's money. It's money. Who else we got? Who else we got here?
Divas Mazzaras, if you could find his question was or his comment was pretty good.
This one?
Yeah, that's the one.
All right. It's going in the same direction of the old review. Now we're getting Jimmy Olsen's show, which nobody asked for. Oh yeah, I heard that rumor. That now.
Yeah, they're repeating all their mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys do realize that this movie, sure, okay, I'll give it's Superman week, sure. It's fine. Let's see how much percentage that the box office drops next weekend.
Not only that, but I'm interested to see what it does, what it's going to do tonight, and what it's going to do tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Because all the shills that trying to promote this, then yeah, how are they going to explain later when the general audience go see this movie and they're like, no, it sucks.
Well, they're already saying it's not going to beat Man of Steel numbers.
No, it was never going to.
It literally doesn't need to.
Well, I mean, just last week they were trying
Pause.
to say
Pause. I'm gonna pause. It's not gonna beat Man of Steel numbers. It literally doesn't have to.
Yeah, but go back like 10 seconds because you're going to want to hear what this guy says.
Oh boy.
5 million
movie and they're like, no, it sucks.
Well, they're already saying it's not going to beat Man of Steel numbers.
No, it was never going to
They're
beat
already
Man of Steel.
saying- Well, I mean, just last week they were trying to say 175 million, 200 million. They stopped promoting that pretty damn.
200 million is still really good in the post-COVID era.
Yep. Just messed up my camera real quick. But but also it ended up passing 500 million, something they said they couldn't do.
Yeah, and literally I saw Ultimate Joker coping and seething about that. That he was like mad because like I forgot where it was, but it was like somewhere on Twitter. I think his post got deleted because he was like went on a full like meltdown. He was seething that it made more money than Man of Steel.
Yeah, and profit.
And he was so mad. Yeah, no, I'll resume him. No, it's I find that shit funny as shit that he was so mad that it beat Man of Steel because he probably thought it never would.
Yeah, let's continue.
Let's finish this. We got 2 minutes left.
Wait, what? Mr. Turek spinoff 2 was
Yes, I heard about that.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, what?
Oh fuck. Anyway,
Cope.
I did
uh,
hear that Mr. Terrific was one of the better characters in the movie. I will say that. I have
Okay.
heard that.
That's perfectly okay. So he was a better character. He's still, I mean,
Actually,
so?
I've heard some reviewers say that he's actually like the main character of the movie.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I
he's
heard
not.
he was.
No, he's not. He is not.
Yeah. Like, that is a straight up lie.
The straw man, if anything. Let's finish this garbage shit.
And
We
got a
got
few
2
more
more after
videos.
this.
I heard he was a standout, and congratulations to him. But he's still a character that nobody asked for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Insane.
Agreed.
All right. Mr. Fergus is that dude. Yeah. Okay. Man of Steel was a realistic and epic take on American icon. Gone Superman is a goofy piece of.
All right, can we end it here?
Yeah, let's
Hey,
go
now,
ahead
1
and,
second. Hey. All right, continue real quick.
I was gonna say, can we end this video and go to the next one here?
Well, we're gonna have to take a break because I have something to do on my phone's at like 15%. So, unfortunately, we're gonna have to take a break.
Okay, so I was gonna say, just shoot me just message the group chat and let me know when you're ready to do more.
Yeah. Until then, have a good day.